This is just a very quick introduction to your basic fuse board that you'll find in most of our rental properties. They do vary slightly, most of them should look like this. This is one of the more modern ones that you'll find. Most of our properties will contain these. From time to time you might get a surge in the electrics or a light bulb will blow, and sometimes that will switch off the electrics in one or more of the circuits on the house. So this is just a very quick explanation of what you need to do to get your circuit back on. If you look at the fuse board here, there's lots of little black trip switches. Each one of these relates to a particular circuit in the property, which will normally be detailed underneath. There's either a little picture or will be written on. That switch relates directly to whatever that tells you it relates to, basically. So for example, downstairs lighting, alarm, etc, etc, and that switch there relates directly to the circuit of that. So if you find that something is tripped in a house and one of these switches has gone down, it'll look like that. What you need to do first is just straight away come downstairs and just flick that switch back on. Hopefully that'll just solve the problem and the power to that circuit will be restored. However, if it goes back down again, it means that you've got a problem with something that is going into that circuit which is causing it to trip. What you'll then need to do is just identify what that is. Now, to do that, you'll need to find out which circuit it is. So for example, the downstairs electric circuit. You'll then need to switch off and plug in every appliance that switch on and plug in every appliance you've got that goes into that circuit. Switch them all on one by one until you find out basically which one, as you switch it on, trips the circuit. So it's kind of a two-person job really, that. Once you've worked out what it is that's causing it to trip, just unplug that, come back down, switch that back up, and your circuit will be fine. And then obviously you can work out that you've got a problem with one of your appliances. So that's all pretty straightforward. If no fault can be identified and it's still tripping it, then obviously there is an issue that's beyond something simple. So just ring our office and we'll make sure an electrician comes around as swiftly as possible. To the right of the fuse board, you'll notice the big red switch here. This is the mains sort of fuse for the board, and that will switch off everything. So in the event of, say, you've got water coming through or there's a serious issue, that will cut off the electrics to the whole property. In the centre of the fuse board here, you'll see the RCD switch, which is this device here, which is activated by that button there. This is an extra safety mechanism on the newer fuse boards, and this basically kind of overrules all of these other switches. So often if there's a trip on one of these, it'll also affect the RCD switch, and that one will go down rather than one of these. Now, what you need to do when that happens, you need to work out which circuit has caused that. So there's been a slight overload for whatever reason, like an appliance or a bulb going, that's then caused the main RCD to switch off all the electrics to these circuits here. So you need to put all of these other switches off, and then you need to put them all on one by one. Firstly putting the RCD back on. So basically you're switching all these off, switching the RCD back on, then as you put these back up one at a time, whichever one then causes that to trip will show you which circuit is showing a fault. You can then do what we talked about previously, where you go back to eliminating what on that circuit is causing that particular circuit to trip. So sometimes they'll trip directly the circuit, other times they'll trip the RCD, and then you need to work out first which circuit it is. Again, it's all pretty straightforward stuff. You're just trying to work out what appliance or what item in the house is causing it to do it. So you're not just switching it back on for it to pop off again. So that RCD is an extra element that you will need to check on the more modern fuse boards. So hopefully that all makes sense. Again, if you've got any issues or concerns, then please ring our office. We'll be happy to talk you through that, and if there is an actual problem with the electrics, then we'll get an electrician to come round as soon as we can. Again, please just make sure you don't touch any electrical devices or wires yourself. The other thing you need to remember as well, that when your alarms or the electrics do go off, when the electrics go off, it will also reset your burglar alarm if you've got one in the property, because they have a battery backup and are also connected to the mains for security reasons. What that'll do is basically it'll activate the alarm once you turn it off, so you need to make sure you've got your alarm code handy as soon as the electrics goes off, because that burglar alarm will start beeping, because it'll be showing you that it thinks that someone's tampering with it, as obviously an extra security mechanism. So you'll need to make sure you have your code ready to switch it off as well. Hopefully that's everything. Any questions, give us a call. Thank you.